Alright, what's going on, everybody? Here we are, Lake Murray. This is Bassmaster Elite Tournament number 3 of the season. Yesterday and half of today, it's been an awesome practice. It really has. Check out this selfie right here of me catching this big one yesterday. I had my chesty going on a little bit yesterday. We've been catching stripers, we've been catching largemouth. It's kind of like one of those in-between tournaments where the fish aren't done spawning and the fish haven't really committed to that chasing bite on those points. So over the last 24 hours here, we've been trying to really cover a lot of water. With Charles just hopping in my boat here halfway through practice, we're gonna continue to cover water, but I wanna shift gears a little bit. We're gonna roll some of this chesty footage from yesterday, but I wanna show you guys the pile. So like, this is the pile. Here we are in Lake Murray. It's a blueback herring lake, and everything is reaction baits. A lot of jointed glide baits, multi-jointed swim baits, you know, XPS glide, a couple of, you know, jointed herrings, a spoon. That was awesome yesterday. Caught a big one on the spoon yesterday. But the common denominator here is just, you know, shad and herring imitators. Line through dangerous swim bait, top hook dangerous swim bait, top waters, fluke style baits. The list goes on and on. But here's the deal on this place right now. They're either up there feeding on herring and spawning shad, or they're not at all. And that's the whole name of the game here this week on Murray. So you guys are gonna come along with me the next couple of days of practice, and also throughout the tournament. We're gonna give you behind the scenes look again of what goes down these Bassmaster Elite Series tournaments, the good, the bad, the ugly. If the weather looks perfect through the lens here, it absolutely is, dude. It's like 80 degrees, like perfect. The last day and a half, I've just been running points. I must have fished 150 points. I'm not even joking. You know, you go there, pull up to a point, make a few casts with reaction baits. If they're not there, they're not there, and you just kind of move on. So, what is this? She's sick. Oh. Striper. That's a big one, dude. What is it? Oh, look at that bass, dude. That spot on it, dude. That's a crazy spot. But let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's downshift and let's get to the backs of some of these pockets, and let's see if we can pick up and mark a couple of spawning type fish. Buckle up, let's go. We're gonna cover a whole lot of water today and tomorrow. All right, here's the setup. Lake Murray, man. I mean, it is just a giant South Carolina lake, blueback herring in it, but look how many branches there are of this thing. It's just so branchy. And what I mean by that is just there's so many coves and points and so many channel swings. It's like you cannot fish it and all of it in a lifetime. I don't know how many shoreline miles there are, but I think it's 50,000 surface acres. I've been concentrated mainly down on the south end. I believe on these big lakes like this that the biggest bass in the lakes always kind of congregate towards that south end, especially if there's blueback herring in the lake. So it's just a monster of a lake, and I'm gonna try to break it down as much as I possibly can, you know, the rest of today and tomorrow. One thing about Lake Murray are there just endless docks and rocks and shoreline cover. I just pulled up to a little pocket here, and I'm just gonna put the trolling motor down, not even pick up a rod, just kind of put it on 10 and just look around visually and see if we can see any fish up shallow. I'm just gonna target these like cuts in the bank and see if we can't mark a few. Visibility is excellent right now with the sun being directly overhead. So I kind of noticed like the shape of the point that these fish are preferring, and it's just these long, sloping, ugly points. Pretty much they're marked with hazard buoys, because if it's a long sloping point, you know, as the water level goes down, they become exposed. So that's the kind of point that the herring prefer, that's the kind of point that the bass prefer, and it's really easy to find because most of them are marked with those buoys. Do what I set out to do. That didn't take long. Just as soon as I went shallow, I just saw a 3-pounder squirt off the bank here. And I mean, that's pretty typical for a lake like this, you know, in mid-April to late April. I purposely went to these little shallow pockets like further down the lake. Like I'm within side of the dam right now, and it's just common knowledge that usually the tops of these lakes, so the fish spawn first. I know by watching a tournament 2 weeks ago that the guys were catching them off spawning beds up the lake. So the further south you go towards the dam, the later that spawn is. And just by seeing that 3-pounder shoot off a bed right here, I mean, I just hit the nail on the head right there. And it's just a later spawn down the lake here. And just any little target, any little isolated stick like that, these fish will spawn right up against. There's another fish right there. That fish wants to go back there so bad. Charlie's like, what do I do? What do I do? He's hot, man. He's in and out. You can learn a lot about spawning fish in their mood just by raptoring down and just observing them. I mean, take the time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just observe how hot he is to get back in the bed. All those fish I caught out off the bank on those points, those post-spawn points, this type of thing would complement that bite really, really well, especially if it slicks off and the sun comes out during the tournament, just like it is now. That's a big one. It's a 5-pounder. She's just chilling. I've been doing a lot of bed fishing in Texas. You know, last week, just before I left for here, we were down on OH Ivy and Possum Kingdom, just whacking big ones with this bed fishing rig. I mean, look how tore up this is a doob tube, a 4-inch doob tube that just came out. Put a little chartreuse on the tail, but just simple Texas rig. Drives bed fish absolutely nuts. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one just to see kind of what the size is and everything. And again, I just want to see what baits they react best to. They didn't want the little Neko, you know, Neko weighted worm, small tiny worm, but as soon as I throw a doob tube in there, it's like he gets all crazy. It's a 3-pound male. Not bad. On the doob tube, it went flying off into the bank. So that's what a 3-pounder looks like. Okay. All right, well that's cool, because like the last day and a half I've been out running points, catching some really nice fish. Now I know I could go into some of these pockets down closer towards the dam and kind of blind cast around with the wacky rig, and you know, if I see one settle down, definitely feed them the 4-inch doob tube. I mean, that is just such a good bed fishing bait. There's another one right there. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that one, and then let's move on. Look at this bluegill bait that we picked up on the way here. Look at it. All right, I've had enough of that. I'm gonna put this stuff away. That guy over there, that's the 3rd boat I saw in this pocket alone. This is a giant lake. 3 other dudes beside myself is cruising this cove right here. So you can count on just about every one of these beds I marked. That guy and that guy and that guy are gonna mark the same one. So I've had enough of this. I'm gonna get back out on the main lake, throw some top water, and try to find some schooling fish. It's a long, sloping, flat clay point, and there are birds. Not only are there blue herons on the point itself, but there's all these little terns and seagulls who are like flying all across this thing. So that means one thing: top water. There was a bump. That was another bite on one of these long sloping points here on the main lake. I'm just gonna keep on running these main points like this, and I keep seeing clues. you know, fish suspended out here in like 12, 14, 15 feet of water. And as I cast up to like 8, 10 feet and wind it back, that's when I'm seeing these fish rise up on it or bump it. So it's exactly what I have been doing the last day. So I'm gonna work my way up the lake, drop you guys off, and finish strong for the rest of the day. All right, just pick you guys back up here about halfway through the last day of practice here. On my way to pick you guys up, I saw the craziest thing, never seen this before. But that was freaking crazy. Like, I've never seen that. There was mama geese and dad geese, and there was like 7 babies in between them. And there was this giant bald eagle that kept on swooping down on it, and it actually picked one of those little babies, those little geeselings off, and he's kind of jacked up, his legs all messed up, and the bald eagle keeps circling right here. Drop me a comment down below and tell me what to do. Like, I want to go help the thing, but like, you're not supposed to intervene with nature as metal, right? But look, this little baby goose right now is trying to get up on the rocks, and he's jacked up from the eagle. See that one on the right? But he's not gonna make it. I mean, like, there's no way he's gonna make it. Look at mama, dude, that's so sad. That's why when you're out fishing and you see these geese, you know, they'll start off with 5, 7, 10 babies, and by the time the spring ends and summer kicks in, they're down to 1 baby. It's because eagles like that, or fish, or other birds. But look at this little baby right here. The eagle screwed him up. I saw it happen. I saw the eagle swoop down. I mean, what do I do? What do you do? I mean, he was like sitting there drowning. Do I set it right back out here and let the eagle take care of him, or do I let him cruise with me for a little bit? Either way, he ain't gonna make it. Poor guy. Poor guy. His leg is like stiff, completely broken. Hey. Gosh, don't put me on the camera. So I was going to pick up Charles and the camera, and I'm cruising along, and I see this eagle like swooping down on something. I'm like, what is that? But his leg's jacked up. Look, see, his leg's broken.
Oh my gosh, you gotta give him to me. I'll fix his leg.
She wants it. She wants me to keep it. I can't. Oh yeah, his parents are up there. They already knew. They already know. Like, they're already about their business. Look at them. They forgot about it. That thing's so cute, man. Oh. Little baby Canadian, little Canuck.
It's crazy how little, like,
tiny,
yellow
dude.
they are.
Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna put it on the bank, and we'll set back for like 10 minutes and see if this eagle shows back up. But it was either gonna drown right there on the rocks. I mean, at least I'm helping it up there. I mean, that's about the only thing I could do. He's coming towards me. That's brutal, dude. He keeps on coming back to me like I'm mama. No, 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 don't fall off the edge. All right, I'm not seeing that eagle come by. I'm just gonna leave him to it. I mean, that's pretty crazy. It's like, there's like 3 rules to nature. Rule number 1 is find something to eat. Rule number 2 is find a mate. And rule number 3 is don't be eaten. And that little guy right there fell victim to rule number 3. And that's just it, man. Only the strong survive out here. Which reminds me, I got to get back to fishing here, because only the strong are going to survive in this week's tournament. A lot's changing. Like I was saying this morning, I had a few bites doing the point thing and looking around, but on a day like today when it's calm and sunny, I should be looking around and doing a little more sight fishing. So just saw a pair of spawners right here. You know, all the fish I'm catching out there are all like 4+ pounders. Like, I need to mark a few of these bedding fish just as limit fillers. When we have these conditions during the tournament, you know, that bite out there, you know, that chasing bite is really not there. So you really have to figure out how to get these fish to bite. I mean, that's a big one right there. That's like a 3.5 male, and the female was even bigger, like a 4-pounder. So I'm gonna double mark this one on my waypoint and come back here in the tournament for sure. Oh, that's a big one, dude. Oh my gosh, 5-pounder. That's a big one.
Oh my gosh, that's a 5-pounder.
Hello. Look, she's got spots on her. Want some bread? When they're just kind of chilling, those are the hardest ones to catch, man. The only thing you do is just kind of come in here just nice and cool and just skip cast the little 5-inch lunker log, weightless, and just let it sink in front of her face. Maybe she'll bite. That's a big one. Look at that one. That's the biggest fish I've seen all week. That's a 6+. Yeah. Look at her, dude. She's giant. I'll pitch a doob tube in there tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So like all these fish right here were all like 3, 4. There was a couple 5 and 6 pounders. And like I've been doing this kind of like, you know, every couple hours I'll go in these pockets and just look shallow and just see nothing but those ones, you know, in bluegill. For some reason, that stretch right there had like the quality we're after, 20+ pound bag, just right there. But like, why that point? Why that one? I mean, it looks exactly like every other point around. I mean, that's what racks my brain. That's what's really weird about these herring lakes is if they like a piece of real estate, a point, like that's what they use to spawn and feed. You just have to put the trolling motor down and go. Yeah, we figured a little something out, man. So these fish really aren't spawning, they're actually ambushing herring. I just watched a big one chase herring along these rocks. I was just asking myself, why was there 20 pounds on that stretch? Seawalls and rocks inside the coves, right up along them. As soon as I rigged up a little worm, pitched it under that dock right there. I mean, that's a nice bite right here. Oh, that's a nice one. Limit of those would be a good little start. Just a little finesse worm. Right in that shade, right in the rocks. So that's the key. So knowing that, I mean, that's huge. Awesome. And just what I've seen literally in the last hour feels like I'm on a completely different lake. Like once you understand how they're hanging out and what they're hanging out on, it's like now I'm looking at this lake with like a different polarized vision of what to look for, because over the last 48 hours it's been clay points and schooling fish, but you're chasing a ghost out there. I established a couple like schooling type areas where they're worth a look in the morning, of course. Caught a 5, caught a 6 the last couple days. Caught some stripers and things like that. But now that I've got kind of this deal figured out, now I know what to look for. And there's nothing more dangerous than figuring out a pattern leading up to a tournament and expanding on it during the tournament. That's when you can really, you know, rack up the weights each and every day. So now I know what to look for. I kind of know what baits to throw. It's gonna be a good week. All right, it's about 5 o'clock, the last day of practice. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up now. Got a whole lot of tackle to do. After seeing all these cruisers, big cruisers, I wanna have all my rods rigged up, all the little California secrets that I broke out and learned over the past. There's a lot of finesse presentations that I wanna rig up, and that's gonna take a long time. Keep in mind, this is only the 3rd tournament of the Elite Series season, and I'm not doing too good in points, so I really need to do well in this tournament and get that trajectory going up if I want to make the classic and get up there in the AOI points. So got a lot to do this evening. We're gonna get out of here and wrap things up.